All right, it's that time again, guys. Another IEM replay cast brought to you by Alpha X as we head into the group of death, the round of 24. This is Group D, and here we go. Spawning at the top right, we got our blue Zerg. He's representing the team, a team of Shopify Rebellion. Give it up for Scarlett.
And her opponent spawning in the bottom left corner of the map, it is the Red Terran player from Team NV. It is Maru.
Alright, so TVZ here on the map of 2,000 atmospheres. And as I mentioned, this is the group of death because this group involves players such as Raynor, Clem, Beyond, and Zoun. And or wait, is Zoun was it? I forgot if Zoun was in it. But at the very least, yeah, and Scarlett as well. So it's just a crazy group with a lot of potential favorites to win this whole tournament.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't call them groups of death for nothing. Anybody coming out of this group would pretty much be favored in the playoffs, I'd say. Or at least, you know, they'd have a lot of fans rooting for them in the playoffs.
Yeah, I feel like either way, I think we're going to have some upsets. In a group that's this stacked, I think there's bound to be some sort of upset. Usually it goes that way, but I don't know, maybe the top three will be the people that we kind of predict will move on. But anyhow, in this series, we're going to have Maru versus Scarlett. Now, of course, Maru, I would say, heading into IEM, probably as the favorite to win this whole thing. He's been on the roll. I mean, he, of course, won in the fall Kings of Battle. And also, if I recall, he also won the Last Chance tournament. Either that or it was GSL Super Tournament. I forgot. I think it was Last Chance. But anyhow, yeah, he's been on the roll. He's been on fire, and yeah, he's got a lot of momentum coming to this tournament. Now, of course, on Scarlett's side, she has won the recent DreamHack NA region, so she's also got some good momentum on her side. So this should be a great matchup.
Yeah, definitely. We have arguably the best Terran of all time going up against one of the best Zergs. And, you know, both players obviously have their own unique styles. Now, some love Maru's style, others hate Maru's style. But I guess the same could be said for Scarlett. I'm very excited to see what both players have in store for this best of three.
Yeah, should be a good one. And oh, look at what we have here. A fusion core?
Oh.
What is this? Maru going for a fusion core?
That's a little bit crazy, I'd say. I mean, he is going for that drop ahead of the we're assuming a battlecruiser. Yeah, so this is interesting. I like this a lot, right? Because once you see that first drop, once you see the first commitment of any sort from the Zerg, from the Terran, unless it's something like 8 Hellions, you don't really expect a second follow-up to be BCs, right? You expect it to be something else. Now, is Scarlett ready for this drop? It looks like she does have Lings ready in the main base. Queens on the low ground as well. And I feel like, you know, once the BC is out, there should be enough Queens to defend against this. So maybe that's why we don't see this kind of build too often.
Yeah, it just seems like a build that's coming out of Gumiho's build orders or something, but it's like,
definitely, yeah.
Yeah, he's like channeling his inner Gumiho or something. We'll see if this catches Scarlett off guard. I mean, so far, I don't believe Scarlett has scouted this, as the Overlord did not go in to scout, or at least it did not go deep enough to scout that fusion core. But, ooh, actually, oh my goodness.
Excellent play by Maru, taking down 16 SCVs. I don't think I've ever seen a Hellion drop do that much damage. And it was so unfortunate because Scarlett was putting the drones back to work, and of course that does clump them up onto a single mineral patch. And Maru was able to take advantage of that. Of course, the Spore Crawler wasn't finished. There was no Queen in position, excuse me, to keep shooing away that medevac. So unfortunate. I think all of a sudden this VC, once it either teleports or flies across the map, I feel like it's going to do a lot more damage than intended. Now Scarlett actually does have 4 queens as well as a Spore Crawler in position, so hold that thought because that VC is going to get a little bit low on health. Now these Hellions are going to be chased by the Lings, but those Lings are going to take a lot of damage. I don't think that this game is going to go in favor of Scarlett, simply because that kind of economic loss is usually too great to make a comeback from.
Yeah, I mean, that was not only 16, like, you know, maybe 16 drones going down in like the 30-minute mark. You know, wouldn't be like the worst thing in the world, but you know, around the 5-minute mark, it's like, ooh, that is tough. We definitely see Scarlett on the back foot, and she will have to find some way to climb herself out of this hole somehow, some way. Looks like she will go ahead and throw down the Spire in hopes to maybe get some Mutilas, maybe catch some SCVs in the mineral line to potentially even up the scoreboard. But it's going to be pretty tough. I mean, right now Maru got the 3rd base all saturated, still doing damage with these Hellions, but it looks like these Lings will finally clean them up.
Oh, look at that cheeky held out by Maru, making sure to take a few more Lings than first intended. But I think so far, you know, aside from that huge blunder in her main, Scarlett has played this game pretty well. Even though she hasn't seen what's inside of the main of Maru, she's able to deduce that this is probably going to be mech, and so she has gone into that Roach Spire based playstyle, which is, of course, the standard response against mech. Now, we do see that these Hellbats are going to join up with this small drop, and they are going to be able to defend against, they are going to be able to shoo away the Lings. At the same time, we do see a BC coming back into the natural just before it TPs away. This 4th base is under a lot of fire, however. Maru's being so efficient with his units. I mean, none of these are tier 2 units, right? Like, they've all come from the first wave. They are actually going to be able to take down the 4th hatchery, in fact.
Yeah, Maru is really funding a lot of values. And, okay. Does at least drop these 2 Hellbats before that medevac dies. Can get more drones. Oh my god, these drones still stacking the once again. Luckily, only 4 this time.
Oh, a little bit of a mistake by Maru, TPing just a little bit too late with that BC. Those Corruptors are able to kill it, and of course BCs, their strength lies not in their army value, not in their power, but in their longevity and their ability to sustain their value over longer periods of time. So a little bit of a mistake by Maru, but honestly, I don't see any way, if Maru doesn't make any more significant mistakes, he's definitely favored to win this game.
Yeah, even without the 16 drone kills, I think he was also coming into this game favored to win this one as well. So yeah, this is a tough order for Scarlett to turn this game around. Now, considering all the damage that she has suffered, I do want to commend Scarlett for at least staying afloat. I mean, her supply is still decently ahead compared to Maru's, although I do favor Maru's army composition more. But considering, you know, how behind she was, she hasn't done too bad in terms of trying to climb back up and trying to even up the supply there.
Alright, we do see that Pathogen Glands upgrade coming up for Scarlett, so it looks like we're going to see a lot of investor play. Usually when a player goes for Pathogen Glands, it indicates that they're going for a fungal-based playstyle, whereas, of course, Neural Parasite is self-explanatory. Now, that doesn't mean that this upgrade is not useful for Neural as well, simply because it's an energy upgrade, and it's not an upgrade specific to the fungal ability.
looks like we're heading to what could be potentially the last push, maybe? No, actually, no, this is too small of an army here. But we'll... Oh my god, look at those.
Oh, excellent target firing with the Cyclones by Maru. Able to just gun down that base pretty much immediately. Man.
Cyclone just they just output so much damage.
Yeah, and the fact that Maru is on the same number of bases as his Zerg opponent behind this, I mean, this is every indicator that, you know, things are not going to go the way that Scarlett wants them to. Of course, Roaches, they are good against mech in the early and the mid game, but the later you go, the worse they get, right? They are just so cheap, so supply inefficient, and honestly quite weak against mech. You want something more like Ravagers, which of course Scarlett does morph in a bunch. You want, you know, Banelings even. You want Lurkers, that kind of unit. These Cyclones, look at that. They're getting so much value. Infestors struggling to keep up. If they could just get one good fungal, that is all that Scarlett is hoping for, but she does not have time to commit to that. Now, she will actually get a pretty decent fungal on 4 of those Cyclones. The rest of them do come in to clean up the rest of the Ravagers. But at the same time, we do see this BC Siege Tank and Thor-based army coming in to the east side of the map. Scarlett is going to try to collapse on it with her Roaches, Ravagers, and Banelings. Corruptors are going to push back the BCs for now, but look at that. Those tanks are just going to shell away at the Ravagers. Nothing really able to be done about that. The Banelings are going to reroute to the north side to kind of awkwardly deal with these Hellbats and these Cyclones, but yeah, losing another base. Scarlett is not going to be able to keep up if this continues.
Oh my god, is this Cyclone gonna... No way. Come on, Scarlett. Oh, I think she's just too focused here on the right side.
Oh, man. Yep, GG is called. Maru is going to take game number 1.
All right, so as we head into this game number 2, a little bit of a kind of a horrible start for Scarlett. Really, it was just that one play that just set her, you know, just really behind from the start. And so, you know, I'm wondering if maybe if Scarlett did not suffer 16 drone losses that early in the game, maybe she would have, you know, had a good chance to take that game number 1, because, you know, despite her being so far behind, she did a really great job, I would say, in at least keeping herself alive for that long.
Yeah, honestly, I can definitely see that, and I totally agree, because she did have spellcasters out. Despite that huge economic deficit, she still had a lot of decent spellcasting out on the map by the time that the mech armies were on her side of the map. And I feel like, who knows, maybe if she had the time to get up to Neural Parasite in addition to Pathogen Glands, maybe she could have been able to hold off those Thors as well, and maybe even use them against the tanks. Because of course there were only, I believe, 3 tanks out on the field, and it's going to take a few more than 3 to one-shot a group of investors, in my opinion.
Yeah. So we'll see what this game brings in store for us. Whether we're gonna have another battlecruiser opening from Maru, which I gotta say, man, that was quite surprising, because I don't usually see Maru open up with that. Although I could be wrong, maybe I haven't seen too much Maru games or something as of late. But yeah, he's usually a guy that is more bio-centric, more like a tank marine kind of a guy. I don't see him open up with battlecruisers that commonly, but I guess that's something that he has added into his arsenal coming into this tournament, because of course this tournament you have to play a lot of games. You got to bring out some different build orders, so kind of stacking up your build orders coming to this tournament and being prepared just, you know, kind of puts you in a good position to you know, either surprise your opponent or keep them off kilter. So
Yeah, now we do have an interesting interaction that's quite different from that BC opener. Here in game number 2, we do see Maru opening up for that 3-rack style. We do see, of course, the combat shield and stim upgrades coming out pretty early in the game, prepping for a pretty big marine push in just a little bit. At the same time, Scarlett was able to squeeze out a few lings, scout out the other side of the map, and actually confirmed that this is going to be a bio-based army, a marine-based opening. Whereas, usually the standard would be that you see Hellions out and about, that kind of thing. So she will have a Baneling nest done on time for that push on her side of the map.
Alright, so looks like Scarlett spreading up that creep tumor, which is going to be really important during the engagement, because by the time this attack commences by Maru, the Baneling speed isn't going to be finished. So she wants to go ahead and spread the creep as far as possible, so that gives that extra little bit of speed boost for those Banelings to connect onto those Marines. And here we go. Marines are going to go ahead and walk across the map.
Ooh, this is looking kind of scary. We only see just now Banelings being morphed in. The third base is already going to be under threat. Creep is being cleared a little bit. Nice scan. Does confirm the number of queens, the number of banes, and lings that are available. So Maru is just going to keep on angling, making sure that he can pick off whatever he can. I like this a lot. Maru not actually stimming, making sure to preserve health on his Marines until he knows exactly what he's up against. Just making sure to keep Scarlett on her toes. I like this a lot. As you said earlier, Maru, of course, famous or infamous, depending on your perspective, for his bio play. Of course, recently he has been playing a lot more mech, a lot more of that spooky mech style, right? Mixing in a bunch of ghosts, which of course is considered to be the ultimate late game Terran army. But of course that is not the case here in game number 2. As, yeah, I mean, look how much respect Scarlett is showing these Marines. She knows what Maru is capable of, and she is not willing to detonate Banelings on this army just yet.
Yeah, it looks like Maru is actually gonna wait for maybe +1 with 2 medevacs before actually attacking. Before at least stimming, because yeah, like as you mentioned, it hasn't really stimmed too much, hasn't really committed to the attack quite yet. But maybe actually can get the cancel onto this base here.
Okay, looks like these Banelings are going to close the distance just in time, making sure that the 4th base is not going to be under fire, but this is where things get a little scary, right? On one hand, you have a double drop. On the other hand, you also have a fully decked out 2-tank push coming out to the south side of the map, and of course that's where the creep spread has been a little bit limited, given that the bio was there previously in the game and was able to clear creep ahead of time.
Oh man, this is gonna be such a tough position as the tanks are sieged at the cliff area. Gonna actually force Scarlett to possibly retreat, or will she commit into this attack, trying to get a flank of some sort? But man, there's no Baneling speed still.
Oh, this hurts so much. The tanks, even though they are being killed by the queens and the lings, they are going to be able to hold off and deal so much damage, killing off the Banes, and the Marines in the back, of course, able to keep up the damage output, making sure that the lings are not going to overwhelm them. This could be game. I mean, at this point, Scarlett's only choice is to come back so hard that she's able to go kill Maru across the map, but that is not going to be the case. These Marines are standing strong. GG is called. Maru is going to sweep Scarlett 2-0.